All rise. Okay, Circuit Court down in session. The Honorable Judge John Putman presiding.
Be seated, please. 13-263, State versus Chris Larson, charged with theft of property. Sir, you appear here for an arraignment. And who represents you, Mr. Bailey?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay.
At this time, we'll wait formal reading of the information. Enter a plea of not guilty. We'd ask the court to hear us on bond this morning.
Okay.
So Mr. Larson's lived here for 12 years without incident. His only prior criminal history is some misdemeanors in Cook County, Illinois. I believe the state agrees that a surety bond is more appropriate than the current cash bond that's in place. We'd ask the court to assess at the most a $2,500 surety bond.
Judge, the state would like a surety bond. I think presently he's on a $7,300 cash bond. I think this is a theft case. And I think the item that this gentleman stole was alleged to have stolen. I'm comfortable with the surety bond, certainly, but it needs to be at least $7,300.
How long has he lived here in the area?
12 years, Judge. He has a home here. And I understand the state's, if there is a conviction or if there's guilt, that they would want to be paid, but that's a little punitive at this stage of the game.
I ain't going nowhere.
Judge, let me say that the $7,300 tractor, however, to the victim, as to the victim, there's still $9,000 owed to the finance company.
Make all the payments, all that's currently paid. There's no note on it.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to set the bond at $5,000 cash or surety.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And he's ordered to reappear before this court on January 23rd of 14, 10 o'clock.
What day, Your Honor?
January 23rd.
Thank you.
Judge, just for the court's information, he is attempting to hire me privately. This would not be a public defender case. If he needs to, we'll fill that application out.
Well, 13-261, State versus Jacob Anderson, delivery of methamphetamine, hydrocodone, possession of drug paraphernalia. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And you have a lawyer?
Judge, I've spoken with Mr. Anderson, and it's possible that Mr. Dillinger will be representing him from this point forward, but I will help him today for his arraignment.
Very well.
We'll enter a plea of not guilty and waive reading of that information, and we'd like to be heard on bond, Judge.
Very well. Just what's your position on bond?
Judge, according to the information or the affidavit that I'm looking at, the recommended bond, I believe, was $500,000. This is a delivery case. It looks like 4 counts of delivery. I think that's extremely excessive, considering my client has no criminal history, no criminal convictions. He's 19 years old, lives with his mother in Fulton County, 45 minutes from here.
Yeah.
We think that a $25,000 bond would be much more appropriate in this scenario.
You know, this gentleman hasn't lived with his mother in months. He's been tracked by the sheriff's office and by the drug task force. This gentleman appeared as late as August 24th after being arrested on August the 22nd in this county. He appeared and he lied to the state trooper about what his name was. He continued that lie, and the information that's contained on that citation, it appeared in municipal court, and under the name of Jacob Armstrong, he paid a $585 bill, continuing under 3 charges under that name. Again, that wasn't disposed of until August the 7th. He has actively evaded telling people what his real name is. He is an active drug dealer. I'd like to have a bond hearing here, but before you introduce that, change his bond, I'd like you to watch a tape where this 19-year-old young man is not, Judge, we sit here for months and we see grams of methamphetamine come into this county. This is a 19-year-old boy who chose to bring a ½ pound of it into this county. And he is not like any other 19-year-old boy that I deal with. His bond needs to remain at $500,000. He may live in Fulton County. He doesn't stay there. He travels into Baxter County and he sells drugs to the people in Baxter County. And so at this point, any leniency that he asks for, I would ask that you keep his bond at $500,000. And if we want a bond hearing, let's have one. Because there's a tape that you need to watch. This young man isn't like most young men that stand here at 19 years of age.
Okay. I'll tell you what, let me review the affidavit closer, and if I can either set a bond, or if I decide we need to have a hearing, we can schedule that.
I would definitely like a rebuttal before the court makes a decision. I mean, if you want to take it under, I mean, this is the information I've been provided. It says nothing about anything that the state's attorney just said, Your Honor.
Okay.
I think if they want to bring that into a bond hearing, it needs to be appropriate and akin to the charges that are being brought against this young man, not what they think he might be doing.
Well, let me recall the case.
Thank you.
Later date. You can be seated, and we'll recall your case. 13-255, State versus Matthew Johnston, commercial burglary and theft. Looking at the docket sheet, it looks like that Mr. Johnson earlier entered a plea of not guilty. Or you will be representing
Yeah,
him?
Jeremy Friend for the defendant, Your Honor. I didn't know he'd already entered a plea of not guilty.
Okay, but Judge Webb just ordered him to reappear, to get on our docket, I suppose.
Okay.
I'll reflect that you're his attorney, and I'll go ahead and schedule him to reappear on January 23rd. 13-187, State versus Nathan Lackey, criminal mischief, breaking or entering, theft. Nathan Lackey.
Your Honor, he's here for reappearance.
Yes, sir.
There's no action to take at this time. We are discussing a possible plea, so they could still keep him here in case we can work it out before lunch.
Okay. If something can be worked out, we'll recall your case. Thank you.